That's all?
Yeah.
Shoot. Oh, not.
Every 10 or 15 years, a film is produced that is so overwhelming, so forceful in its impact, that it becomes deeply embedded in the mind.
Persons under 18 will not be admitted.
Appreciate your choosing our theater. And to make this experience more enjoyable for everyone, we hope you'll refrain from talking during the show. Enjoy the movie. Thank you.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. We have very active lifestyles. It's not all wandering the countryside aimlessly or scaring passing motorists. And we all love a good cup of joe. And there's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. Bold, robust, delicious. It's coffee that can wake the dead. With over a dozen different roasts and flavors, Deadly Grounds can satisfy the most finicky of coffee addicts. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. You're watching Still Toking with. My name is Leo. I'm the one behind the keyboard here. We have a amazing show for you today. I'm going to do the introduction just in a minute, but before we do that, Benjamin, how's it going, bud?
It's going awesome, actually. Awesome. I'm really psyched about the guest tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I've had the pleasure of seeing this gentleman on multiple occasions. Blew my mind. And then ran into him at a convention and got to chat. And he's just an amazing person. I mean, it's that simple.
Well,
I'm done. Go to Jeff.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. Happy Hump Day.
Happy Hump Day, yeah.
It is Hump Day, right? Yeah, today's Wednesday, right? Happy Hump Day. Yeah, I don't. My wife was very interested in having me be a part of this show because she said I might kind of need the influence from this dude. At least that's kind of what she's telling me. You know what I mean? So, did you want to do the intro, Leo? That's what you said.
I was instructed that I needed to do the intro for some reason.
Yeah, he was sent an email with something specific.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because I was gonna fuck it all up anyway.
Well, you always do that.
Well,
not always. It's random.
Well,
you never know.
Always on purpose.
Right? So, Leo, I'll let you do it, man.
Anyway. So I'm excited for it because I absolutely love the show. But so if you remember, the CBS had an amazing show called The Mentalist. So tonight we're bringing The Mentalist to you. Our guest is actually The Mentalist was based off of him. And he's had many television appearances. He performed in 23 countries, has appeared at the White House on 5 different occasions. Please open your minds and welcome the man who knows what you're thinking, America's master mentalist, John Stetson. How's it going, sir?
Oh, it's going great, man. It's good to be here.
Great to have you.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Oh, sure. How could I not take up this invitation?
Wow.
Is
the brick wall behind?
That's okay.
Yeah. My first question to you is the brick wall there to like keep stuff from the outside coming in?
It goes both ways.
It goes both ways. Okay.
Yeah. I have special instructions on the door over there that says no, do not let me out under any circumstances.
Oh, okay.
No matter what I say, don't let me
I should probably get one of those.
I think that's a very good idea. This wall comes down. This is a from when we had to learn how to do virtual programs. So, back when we were all, I'm still doing them, but COVID time, right? It was so limited as to when we can go out and do things. So I put this little thing together in my Aladdin's cave of an office. Everything's fake. The wall's fake. I'm fake.
Really?
I can tell you he's not fake. I can tell you that because, like I said, I had the pleasure of seeing his performances on 2 occasions in my hometown. It was
America's hometown.
America's hometown, yes, but it's mine because I live here.
And America does not live in Plymouth.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, some of them do.
Okay.
But anyway, and you blew my mind. So I'm going to say he's not fake, folks. Everything around him might be, but.
Yeah, well, isn't that all of our reality when you get right down to it?
Right.
Those shows in Plymouth we did were a lot of fun. We ran for God, I don't know, about 20 years there.
Yeah,
and that was a good run and good fun. And it's funny you mentioned on stage, and I think there are a lot of people who will tell you this. You find someone who does the kind of work that I do and involved with, hypnosis and then dealing with people, spiritual practice and interests. Like I have my ladies only psychic party, which is a gas and various and sundry things that I do. But people talk about being up in front of groups or doing things like that. For me, it's the only place where I am in pretty much complete control.
Mm.
It is, and the great, there was a gal who was working in circus for many, many years. And a friend of mine was on Big Apple Circus the last year of her career. And she's sitting there waiting to go on in the dark. And she just looks up at him and goes, I feel I spent most of my life in the dark waiting to go on. And that's a pretty big statement. But do you remember the Walendas, the flying Walendas?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, Nick Walenda is a cat of the purest variety. I mean, he's one of the greatest speakers out on speaking circuits today. He taking that work of for people who don't know, they were the high wire act.
Mhm.
And they would do like triangular type arrangements on a high wire without a net, nothing down there. And there were several tragedies and several deaths in that family.
Mm.
I think it's like fourth, fifth, Nick may be the fifth generation rope walker. But Carl Walenda, who actually fell to his death in Puerto Rico in the late 70s, said, life is on the wire. The rest is just waiting. And so it's really interesting for people who have the passions or the what have you. You know, I'm far more uncomfortable in front of 1,000 people than I probably am sitting on my couch, unless my dog is with me. If
Right.
she's with me, we're cool. She's my spiritual leader. All I do is suggest where she pees. She spends the rest of her life teaching me lessons. That's what the dogs.
Yeah, that's what dogs do.
Right?
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 I've always had dogs. You know what I mean? My wife yells at me every time I go outside to pee.
Are you always on the wrong side of a door, Jeff?
Yeah,
It
pretty
seems
much.
to be a recurring theme, man. Okay, all right.
Oh boy. But anyways,
Yes, Ben?
Leo, where can they find out about our amazing guest?
Well, you can check in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us, and you'll find everything about our guests right there.
Whoa.
Well,
Okay.
almost
Everything that
everything.
we could find.
Almost everything.
Yo,
Yeah.
you're trying to kill me here.
But no, all your social media links, your website, it's all in the
great.
show notes so that anybody watching live right now can check you out. Feel free to jump in the comments if you want to.
Yeah.
If you don't, because you're afraid, I would be. But that's okay. You know.
Actually,
So,
I'd
go
love to see if there are 3 people who would get involved with us, and I may do something.
You heard it out there, folks. 3 people.
3 people. Yeah, all you have to be is a person.
Right?
Yeah.
But while we wait for people to be
That's okay. We got plenty of time, so go ahead.
Yeah. And before we go too far, if you are commenting and we don't see your comments and you don't see it flash on the screen, you need to jump over to one of the main feeds, which would be Toking with the Dead Facebook page, the Dorkening Facebook page, YouTube channels, and then we'll see your comments. Go ahead, Jeff.
otherwise you're
What
just
Leo does?
kind of out there, yeah, an observer,
Yeah.
Cool.
right? So,
Yeah.
I have a question. I mean, I have
Yes, sir.
given this a lot of thought. Give me your definition of mentalist.
Good question.
That is a good question. To me, it's basically someone who demonstrates feats of ESP. There
Not
you go.
psychosis or anything.
No. Extrasensory perception. I keep it short and put it there because there are lots of people who are exploring, doing, and are now self-professed mentalists who maybe come from a somewhat of a different place than I'm old school, and the term is kind of is wide open. For example, lots of magicians, say magician and mentalist. It's like, well,
Mm-hmm.
not really. You're doing tricks.
Yeah, basically.
Tricks are
Okay.
great. I love tricks. Dogs, hookers, magicians. I love them all. Tricks are great, man. I love mystery and I love not knowing, and I embrace past magic with me and everything. I'm down with all of it. I really love it. I've seen real magic, and Mentalist was the title that was sort of put on me as to what I wanted to be, wanted to become. I use it because it kind of gives people a little bit of an idea based on the TV show and a lot of the things that people are seeing on online and television these days. So it's something to hook on to. I prefer to just they're coming to see me, and whatever it is I happen to be doing that night. That's where my thing is. And unfortunately, when you get certain types of entertainment, Magic's doing a little bit better in this regard these days. But it used to be that, let's say a local club was hiring a magician for something, and he wasn't particularly good, and they had a piano player the following week who wasn't particularly good. The difference is they would book music again the following week. They wouldn't book magic for another 10 years to get like the taste out of their mouth. And it could just be that the guy just had a different style, or wasn't right for the room, or what have you. I'm not saying the performer was terrible, but yeah, it's interesting.
Okay.
Interesting stuff.
So in your opinion, I've been to Vegas. I've seen a lot of the shows out there and stuff.
Yeah.
What is the difference, in your opinion, between a magician and an illusionist?
Magician and an illusionist, I don't find much difference, really. A lot of times people would say illusionist is just someone who does like the larger prop, big things. I would call it like a stage illusion. And there were so many great big shows that traveled for years, and great shows that were in Las Vegas. I'm fortunate enough to have spent a great deal of time there in my life, and have been able to see so much great entertainment, and then see what's going on in Vegas now too. So, but a magician, let's say sleight of hand artist, what have you. A magician, I guess if there's anything, people would say magician kind of does more intimate things, or doesn't rely on big giant prop production-y kind of stuff. That'd be an easy line to draw on that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Very good.
Who did you see out there? Anybody recall?
We saw Siegfried and Roy.
Oh, my man.
Okay, which was
quick question, Jeff. Siegfried or Roy? Who do you prefer?
Siegfried.
I'm a Roy man myself.
Oh well, sucks to be you.
Look at Siegfried, man. You got that hair going.
Right.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Oh, it was unbelievable. Did you see them at the Mirage? Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, that was their final thing. That theater was built for them, and
we did the tour down underneath, see all the cats, and
remarkable stuff.
Yeah, it was fantastic
stuff, man. Yeah. And they it's a story, it's a real like success story. Them that is really like American Dream-ish. They met on a cruise ship. One of them was a steward, and the other was a waiter. Yeah. And but Siegfried was doing magic, and Roy was watching him do the things with the pigeons and stuff, and Roy was the animal dude, and he goes, I have a pet cheetah. And they smuggled the cheetah onto the ship, and they do it in Siegfried's magic act. They replaced a rabbit with a cheetah, and every passenger watching the show just thought it was the greatest thing they'd ever seen. And you'd think like the captain and stuff would, on one hand, want to like, you smuggled a cheetah on especially a German captain, the captain,
right?
On my ship, and instead they had no choice but to embrace it, and that was the beginning of the whole thing, and it was real story, really interesting story, and just their dynamic made them so mainstream. But it was a yin yang kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Siegfried alone, I don't think would have been enough that you would have noticed him or as much, as we admired Siegfried and Roy. And Siegfried and Roy on his own could be a little bit too much for people. So you put it all together. But Siegfried, it was a genius when it came to magic and creation of magic.
Mm-hmm.
They would hold court every night after their performances and do the, you walk in and it's like you're meeting royalty, the way it's all set up. And,
Oh yeah, yeah.
But as the evening went on and the crowd got smaller, Siegfried would talk about his thoughts and beliefs on magic. You could ask him some very interesting questions because they grew up during the war.
Yeah.
In really bad circumstances. They're a fascinating story. A fascinating story. But, like all interesting people and fascinating stories, multifaceted.
Yes.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, there's just so much about it, but it's just remarkable
Right.
story.
So you told us how they got their start. So I'm curious, how did you get your start in this?
Well, this was a family thing for me, and so you grow up around stuff, and you think, "Oh, this is what people do."
Let me guess. Your parents spent their time trying to make you disappear.
Oh no, but we did, but in our neighborhood, anybody could disappear for a price. So it was interesting dynamic all the way around, I guess you could call it. Yeah, but fun stuff. And I just loved show business when I was a kid, and once again, family involvement. And the Ed Sullivan Show, man, that was the coolest thing in the world for me. And I got to see many people on that show as a child watching, who one way or another I got to work with in life. And I'm very interested in the history and anything I'm interested in, the history, what goes back, the people whose shoulders that we're standing on.
Right.
In all my my interests. But these are heroes, and unfortunately in this day and age, there's not a big interest in that. There's not a big interest in history. Our greatest teacher.
Right.
And
I agree.
And yeah, it's interesting. I know a guy who I'd like to meet. He is Grover Cleveland's grandson.
Oh.
How is that possible? Okay, Cleveland had two families, the youngest son of which had two families, and that's why he could have a 69-year-old friend of mine who incidentally looks just like him, mustache and thing. But we would love to do something to make history more interesting. And teachers now don't seem to want to teach history. It's and he brought this up because he's very involved in all these organizations and stuff. And wow, it's like getting teachers more interested in teaching history. Because without the passion, when you're teaching something, you're not.
Doesn't work.
We have to inspire minds, which is what all my work is all about. And so for a teacher to have to occupy minds, in a grammar, my wife was in education. She a little bit later in life went back to school for special. She became a special needs teacher, and from then on, I was homeschooled.
Cool.
But she's a remarkable woman. Oh, I got a thing. I got a thing right underneath the Star Wars thing. Yeah. That's great.
That was great.
That is so great. But it's true. So what were we talking about? I can't remember. I don't know. We're talking about me. So I grew up involved in all this stuff and magic.
Right.
And because back in the good old days, people would say, no, you're not a mentalist. You can't be a mentalist. You cannot be a 9-year-old mentalist. With very few exceptions, I don't believe you can be a 40-year-old mentalist. True mentalist knows a little bit about life, the power and precision of the human mind, how it works, has had flight time to be able to do things on basically, I want to say higher level, but from a higher perspective, and be able to understand and talk about people. For example, let's say someone's saying, okay, write down, or even in hypnosis, which I'm deeply involved with, there's a thing like a past life regression. And some people think this is really cool. And it's like, okay, on the chalkboard, sign your name. Okay, it's your, whatever. Say someone's 30. Sign your name like you do it on your 21st birthday. Okay, now do it like you did it on your 13th birthday. Now do it like you did it on your 6th birthday, right? Now, what happens if in one of those days it's like, remember Damien's birthday party where the chick the nanny jumps off the mansion wall? This is for you, Damien. What if something like that actually went down? What if there was a fire? What if the birthday cake blew up? You want to bring someone back there? Because this stuff is real. This stuff is real. And that's one of the things I like about magic and the mentalism stuff. Is whatever we think is real is real. Right. And I just love that. And I just think it's a great thing. I just did a show that we could talk about this subject all night long, about Harry Houdini.
Wow.
And it was my relationship. It turned into being a story about my relationship with Houdini. A guy I've had an almost 60-year long relationship with, who happened to die 36 years before I was born. And I had a busy travel month last month, and it was really good, except for the fact I was putting the show together, which we did in Salem. So in my head, I have to travel with Houdini. Guy's a dick, I mean, did I take that out in post?
Yeah.
Hey, Leo, post.
Yeah, we'll fix it in post.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, no, I love everyone. I love everyone. I just don't know how much I like him, but I do have a certain respect for him, a great respect for him, because there's something that he has given me that's been a big force in my life and my dealing with. I mean, everything connected with it has worked out very well for me, but it also comes from, when we're talking about multifaceted people, you learn that the gods have feet of clay, right? And once again, history repeating itself. That's just what he did to his idols and whatnot, And the one thing about Houdini, want to know a secret? He wasn't a very good magician, and that's all he wanted. That's all he wanted. He transcended magic and became such a big star. For us to better understand him, I would say he was a cross between P.T. Barnum and Evel Knievel. If that makes any sense to you.
Right.
And
I can see that.
And the whole show turned into myth and legend. It was part of the Salem Haunted Magic Show thing. There's a smaller showroom, and the last show I did there was something called Seance 27. It was a theatrical seance to contacting members of the 27 Club. Jimmy and Janice, Robert Johnson, Jim Morrison, the list goes on and on and on. And so that was a really fun show. But this Houdini thing turned into, well, it was cathartic, that's for sure. But it turned into a whole different deal where people coming to Salem, I salute them, because I go, well, you're crazy to come here in October.
Yeah.
And you got to have it, but they're adventurous, and they seek the unusual and the unknown and mystery. And so I'll ask someone, well, let me ask, Leo, would you consider yourself a folklorist?
That I believe in folklores, or
just a folklorist? If someone asks you, just like I just did, are you a folklorist?
I would say sure.
Okay, good, because you weren't sure for a while, and most people will deny. Well, not deny it, but once again, kind of re-examine the question. Here's the deal: have you ever blown out the candles on a birthday cake? Have you ever sung happy birthday? Have you ever said trick or treat? You know, hang the stocking with care. Congratulations, you're a folklorist. We all are. We all practice folklore, and it's a great thing because I'm dealing man, myth, legend, and myth is such an interesting thing, and the way things could have been put together in that time and what he did in his time and place was amazing. But you know, if you sat with the world's greatest psychiatrist for an hour, the psychiatrist wouldn't sleep for 3 years. You talk about an intense dude, and but yet, you know, he was so disappointed by so many things. Interesting. It's just an interesting story. That's why I love biographies so much.
Right.
Once again, it's history, but I want to know, as a mentalist, what, and you know, as a guy, what makes people think? What was their thought process for doing this, for creating this, and what were their failures? I want to know their failures, because those need to be celebrated as much.
Right.
Without the failures, you don't have success.
Right.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So you've got to do that, and it's because you never, what does I say? You never grow in your comfort zone, and you're never comfortable in your grow zone. So when you're trying, so like I'm sure the first couple of weeks, you know, you decide to do this, you go, "Ooh, this might not be exactly right," and you've got to, you know, it's a little growing pains, right? And that's how everything is. Hopefully. So, you know, because I say, man, when you're green, you grow. When you're ripe, you rot. Okay, what are we looking into here?
T3 Comics says many of them, if you look farther into, I believe he's talking about folklore.
Folklore, yeah.
Looking into them, it's more than folklore, but pagan rituals just changed to match other meanings.
Interesting comment. Don't know if I understand it completely, but I believe I get it.
Right. He actually had a question as well that I saw.
Oh, cool, man.
There it is.
Yeah, he says, what do you think about all the major people from TV being exposed as fake? How did that change the way you do things?
I believe we're referring to these sort of expose, how magic is done type specials. Early on with Fox, I don't know if this is the case, but for many years, their highest rated entertainment program was a thing called The Masked Magician. And it was some dude who we eventually found out who it was, in a mask, exposing methods to magic.
Yeah.
And what made that really big was the idea of controversy. Because back then, but even back to, say, you know, a television special, like when the great magician Doug Henning did his first thing, he copped a Houdini piece where it's going to be live television. He's going to be in a tank of water upside down, and he could drown, kind of thing.
Right.
And so, hey, I want to tune in, man. This is live, and this dude could die doing this kind of thing. Because America's a funny place. Nobody wants to see anybody die, but everybody wants to be there when they do. So, you know, there's some element of danger to it, or what have you. They'll do it. Same thing now, some level of controversy. And I think that this masked magician thing kind of almost started reality television. You know, first of all, from a productive standpoint, these cost nothing to produce. You know, you look at say one episode of Law and Order, you know, and see like, well, that must cost a couple of bucks to do. And you look at all these reality shows, that's, well, this costs nothing,
right?
In the overall scheme of production. These things became popular, but once again, they became popular because of controversy, because of outrageous stuff and statements. Getting more back to the question directly, I say go to higher ground is how I would deal with things and situations. I really believe in staying in my own lane, and I for example, the expose television shows or videotapes that they made, videotapes, that's how long ago it was. Yeah. Oh man, I never forget the day I lost cool uncle status. I called like an iPod, a Walkman, and like, dude, you had us and you lost us, man. We're now, man. Yeah, what are we gonna do with Uncle Johnny?
Right?
Yeah, man. I don't have issues, man.
Oh, we all have issues, but
no.
Yeah.
National Geographic has issues. I have freaking problems, but we all do. Okay, our problems are there, man, and we're all such incredibly flawed human beings. And getting back to the whole question, what do? I seek higher ground. I try to do things that might be of a little more interest. I try to make it more about the people than about methodology. I think that one of the things when you're talking about, say, mind reading kind of thing, as we spoke earlier, if I'm asking someone to think of their mother, write your mother's name down. Now that opens a whole that you could be going in a really bad place.
Yeah.
And people, crying and things of this type, which will happen at certain performances. But once again, how the situation is handled, what the people and those people who have had that kind of emotional reaction have come and thanked me afterwards. But I don't think a 20-year-old can handle the situation necessarily. No disrespect. But you have to be equipped to know what that thought entails. To just cavalierly go out and say this, it's like, okay, all right, this is one of my little problems. Not problems, but I question amends programs because, hey, Leo, I just thought I'd drop by. Remember that really nice watch you had in 1995 that I always admired and you lost? Well, I stole it. Oh, and by the way, I was sleeping with your girlfriend at the time. Hey, feel better. See you later, man. Bye. This. Now,
well, shit, I want the watch back.
It's like, what the hell just happened?
Right.
What my way of thinking in life is you walk the walk and be prepared to face your past, your truth, own whatever it is.
Right.
Because my whole thing now is all about total self-awareness. Total self-awareness. And, the concept of like self-love, Birkenstocks and bongos and stuff. I'm not going there. Hey, look, don't want to scare your people here. I have two moods, namaste, and I'll cut you. So don't worry about it. I mean, I go both ways. What was I talking about? Oh yeah,
that in itself is a dangerous statement.
Actually, we had a comment here, and I figured it could pose a good question. Pop says he saw John Edwards live once, was very interesting. What's your take on these shows where
mediumship?
Mediumship.
Well, I will upset a lot of mediums in the sense where I think that we can be our own mediums. There was a fellow and I'm sorry, I do not remember names here, from the New York Times who was going to do like a hatchet job on a medium. Not knowing this person, I mean, I'm sure did a little online research, but never having seen them. And what he said in this article, I found so interesting, especially because it was a New York Times thing, that he went with that intention. But when he saw what took place and when he heard the things that took place, he said, I do not believe this person was talking to the dead, but this person was talking about things that I needed to hear that allowed me to have sort of closure on a relationship. A friend of mine who died 12 years ago, and I've been having the hardest time dealing with it. And as a result of seeing this person, listening to this person speak, their take on death and dying and afterlife, He goes, I felt like $1,000,000. I felt this was a great experience for me. So I'm not going to tell anybody what to believe. My one sort of question is, okay, how do these people know exactly what happens after you die? So, all I heard that one guy came back once and he didn't stick around long enough to explain it to us.
Right.
So they're so specific and they're writing books on it. What does this mean? What does that mean? Huh? Weird. But I like John Edward for a very, very special reason. They were doing like a question and answer thing at the end of a program I saw him do once. I've seen him a few times. And this woman goes, my daughter has the gift. He's like, yeah. Yes. She communicates with those from the beyond. And how old is she? Oh, 2. Okay. From the beginning. And we are just so fascinated. And John goes, okay, let me stop you right here. This could very well be happening, but this is what you owe your child. Do not react to anything they say in front of them. If your jaw drops, go like, and walk into the kitchen and come back. I suggest you keep a journal of everything that happens. But basically what he was doing was he was protecting the child.
Mm-hmm.
And a cat in his position, especially in a live event without being televised and stuff, I feel should do that, but doesn't have to.
Right.
The majority of them don't. Now, at the same time, even getting back to, like, say, Houdini days, he originally was looking for truth about. I mean, he believed in the afterlife, and nothing meant more to him than his mom. And after the mother passed, he didn't work for 2 years and was involved in all this stuff. And then later on, at the end of his life, he reinvented part of his career to debunk fraudulent spiritual mediums. Now, here's one problem. Spiritual church, it's a church. I do not believe in attacking churches in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
I'm not going to call down someone in their religious beliefs. And that's dangerous territory over there for anyone to tread on. I say what you believe is real. You're in or you're out. And if we're talking about placebo effect, what placebo effect it has on the brain and is documented, oh my gosh. To me, you sell me a placebo, I'll buy an 8-gallon drum every single week and soak my head in it if it works.
Okay.
It's all here, which most of it is.
Yep.
And I can do this, and that's why I love the neuroplasticity. It's such an interesting study, how you can retrain your mind, how you can reprogram yourself. People who have healed themselves from post-stroke kind of thing. It's a fascinating study. I mean, it's a study more than a study. It's a thing. It's
Right.
a huge thing. And because that's the other thing. If you're going to be doing this kind of stuff that deals with the power and precision of the mind, you do need to have an understanding of how it works and what it is. Getting back to what do I do? What does a mentalist do? So it's demonstrations of influence, and we all communicate when we're not speaking. And at the same time, people go, oh, you ever written a book on body language? I'll go, yes, I will write a book on body language. It's going to be called bullshit. I don't believe in body language books and things like this. We are human beings. We're born with an instinct to understand this as long as we are present. And once again, I add self-aware. The thing I was going to say about self-love before, in case anybody was listening, was without total self-awareness, what are you loving? You're loving something that's ego-based.
Right.
And so much of everything is ego-based. What's that phrase? Your ego is not your amigo. But people say, hey, man, I don't have a big ego. You don't have to have a big ego. You have an ego. Everybody has it. Everybody has to be aware. Last time someone's stuck in traffic, you see the knuckles getting white, they're banging the wheel, they're doing all this stuff, and totally taking it personally, right? So the ego, and that's all ego, and the ego is saying, I do not approve of this traffic. So what that translates to is you are morally superior to reality.
Wow.
You are morally superior to reality because you do not put the traffic in front of you. I don't deem it right. I cannot accept this.
Are you reading my mind here? What's going on?
I was just going to say, traffic doesn't bother me if it's like stop and go traffic. It's like, okay, I'm in traffic.
Yeah.
What bothers me on the roads is stupid assholes that do stupid shit. That gets me angry.
Yes. I love everyone. But let me tell you about those assholes. We were talking about this today. Here's the thing.
I just want to stop for a second. I just find it funny that you guys are complaining about bad drivers and you're from Massachusetts.
Hey, stay in Connecticut.
Hey, Leo, I'm driving through Connecticut tomorrow, and I'm going to be looking for you.
I have his
I'll
address.
be there, man.
I have his address.
Well, yeah, but then again, if I'm like, okay, if I'm stuck somewhere, I go, okay. The whole bottom line is we can't control reality, but we have total control over our response to reality.
Mm-hmm.
Total, maybe not our initial reaction, but our chosen response. And that's why silence has become one of my best pals, man. Trains piss pops off.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I like trains.
That's too bad. I like trains.
Yeah. Great. We're talking about Jennifer Coolidge the other day. She had that great line from the Mighty Wind movie. Beautiful thing. She's playing this crazy publicist. And the dude says, my hobby is model trains. Because, thank God for model trains. Because without them, we would have never had the idea for the big ones.
So, like, why'd they put the deer crossing sign there? That's a bad spot.
That is. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, deal. We can choose how we respond. I do another spiritual practice called Ho'oponopono, which is an ancient Hawaiian thing that's based on forgiveness and self-forgiveness. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, my two moods are namaste and I'll cut you. I get it. We're all like this.
Mm-hmm.
So just because something is a little different, it's more of a philosophy. The same way, Buddhism is a philosophy. Someone asked me what I am, I'd say, I guess I'm a neo-Christian Buddhist. But
yeah, it took a second to register, didn't it?
Oh yeah. Yes.
God.
So,
wow.
Oh dear.
I wanted to ask you something about hypnotism.
Yeah.
All right. Because I don't believe in hypnotism.
Okay.
I don't believe that I can be hypnotized.
Well, then you can't.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. You have to believe that you can be in order to be, correct?
Yeah. I am a hypnotist, but I cannot hypnotize you. Sorry, I just read a comment there.
Yeah.
But I cannot hypnotize you. I can own all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. I repeat, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis.
Okay.
The same way, and I believe this too, we talk about healers of all type. A healer does not heal you. A healer creates space within you to heal yourself. So much of healing is all self-healing. And we spoke about placebo before. And what you believe is real is real. As I say, I can't hypnotize you. I can guide you on this path and take you there, but it's up to you. And the same thing is, and it works for, it's the same way, say, clinical hypnosis would be, stage hypnosis, which is a little dangerous. I think I use a lot of hypnotism in my programs, but I am not. People would not know. Don't say I'm a hypnotist. It's a little more stealth, and it's intertwined into other things and using hypnotic language and that type of thing. So, here's the whole thing. If you believe if you believe, quote unquote, believe in hypnosis or you don't believe in hypnosis, either way, you're right.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
I think it's that way with lots of stuff.
Right.
And of course we see so much of the stereotypical Hollywood hypnotists, and so often they're portrayed as being bad people. I'm trying to think of a good guy hypnotist in a movie, and I'm a movie guy, and I can't recall one off the top of my head. No, but yeah. So we have preconceived images and things, and okay. I'm sorry, I'm just reading about this dude's stream. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well,
seek help.
Start or stop drinking.
Well, stop drinking.
Dreams can get pretty bumpy and buzzy. I get, and it's yeah. And once again, it's all this stuff is down there. All this stuff is in, this bottomless pit of our subconscious. Everything we've ever seen, anything we've ever felt, anything that's ever happened to us is down here and can come up at any given moment based on the trigger. And your subconscious mind cannot differentiate between good and bad memories. It can't differentiate between, it doesn't understand sarcasm. It doesn't understand cynicism. These are things that do not count in the subconscious world. And once again, it's whatever we see, do, happens, it triggers something. And it comes up and comes down like one of those soldiers with a parachute, but it gets clogged up over here before it can get down to ground zero, where you can have a logical, I call it divine, divine inspiration. I call it, from whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, clear thinking. I've been a TM guy, transcendental meditation guy, since the 70s. And it's the same thing. When I'm in practice between my Ho'oponopono stuff and being aware, being totally aware, being totally here. Because if you're not here, first of all, this is all there is. There's no future. There's no past. They don't exist. This is all we got. And this is, this ain't no guarantee, right?
Right.
It's like, wow, this is great. This is really great, being here, being present. I always say to people, if you don't believe in a natural, say, sixth sense, I hope you believe in the other five. And when the other five work together, like in concert kind of thing, it wakes up that intuitive thing. Like we talk about body language. It's all there if we're paying attention, if we're being in the present. Because it was really interesting. I believe in some things that are kind of out. And the whole concept of the mentalist is that there's no such thing as anything, quote unquote, psychic. See, we're all just looking at the same thing from different perspectives. Is what it is. We're all calling it something different. It's kind of the absurdity of life. I think most of us are looking at the exact same. We're all looking at the same stuff, but just from different ends. Someone says, okay, well, that means you're just paying attention. Well, for example, hypnosis. So I can't be hypnotized. Okay, then you're right. I can be hypnotized. Then you're right. Just, it's just a different thing. And so when I say I want to be totally present, because it allows me, it wakes things up, and I can listen. And the thing is that we do. You guys, one of the things I'm really admire about you guys on this show is the way you guys communicate, the way you listen to people who are sitting here where I am. And because as a civilization, the big part is people more often listen to respond as opposed to listening to comprehend what's being said. That is that's just a huge thing. And I want to make sure I comprehend when it gets interesting and intense and everything, or just present. I want to be here. I want to comprehend what someone is saying to me. Because let's face it, half of the greetings and things are just grunts. How are you? God forbid. How are you? Imagine if someone actually told you how they were.
Right.
Yeah.
I introduced something, some of my corporate speaking kind of things. I said, let's take all that out and basically exchange it for the expression, tell me something good. Because first of all, nobody's listening. How are you? Oh, my aunt died this morning. Oh, that's nice. Have a nice day.
Right.
You don't listen to that. So I love to kind of stop people in their tracks. Go, tell me something good. Huh? Not good. Nothing. There's nothing good going on in your life. Gotta be something. And so like every kid's at the little supermarket I like. I get out of work early. Well, there you go. That's good, right? Yeah. And then once you start thinking about good things in your life, you can't stop.
Right.
It opens the floodgate to that kind of thing. And it was interesting. So I brought this challenge to a few different companies as part of a program, and it's been very successful.
Wow.
It really has been. I mean,
It'd be interesting to do a test.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
Take a group of people, and one of them every day you ask them, what's good, make them think good, and the other half would be like, so what sucks today? and after about 2 weeks, see the personalities change of the two groups.
You are spot on, man. Spot on.
It'd be fun. I just like to fuck with people. That would be really fun.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Leo,
that's half the fun.
Leo, it sounds like a new show for the network.
Jeez, you just want to see the world burn, don't you?
Okay.
No, it's 50-50. It was half, this half, so thinking good things, this half's not.
Yeah, we could do a mind control show.
I think that'd be really fun.
Oh boy.
It is.
So I wanted to back up all the way to the beginning because you said something and I caught it, but nobody said anything. And I'm curious. You said you've seen real magic.
Yeah.
Explain.
I've seen things that I cannot explain. I have seen what I guess people could call miracles. Some of them are very personal, and I don't like to. I don't mean for me. I mean for the things that I've witnessed, and when I've seen things happen that have just. I'm blessed in a background in deception, con man stuff, old show bit, the whole thing. And some people, when I was doing things and say a more of a, kind of like a new agey kind of place, and I have opinions on all that too, but I do appear in a lot of those places, would kind of go, oh, well, he's not real, he's, oh God, doing tricks and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, hey, I'm totally honest and open about all of it. But I go, who better? Would you feel better if I was a plumber coming to this, coming to more of the spiritual end of things and speaking to you about how people think and ridding stress, anxiety, and all this kind of stuff? I think my background, because I know so many things that are fake, it allows me to identify things that are real. And once again, based on what I see in my beliefs. And are there demons walking on this earth in human form? Absolutely. I had one move into my house once. I should have known it was my wife's funeral, and the cat showed up with luggage. For our viewers, that's a sign. And he came right into my hermitage and stayed for like 4.5 months. And the things that happened were mind-boggling. Were just and I go, oh my God. And I've known this guy for years, and he's allegedly a spiritual guy, but we've done things, things of a spiritual nature together, but we've done things, we've been to Lilydale and all these places and things. So I'd run with this guy a little bit in the past, a lot in the past. And I learned that the cat stuff was so evil. And I believe it. I totally believe it. And people have these experiences. And man, at the same time, have fun.
So you're calling it, you've seen real is it more the unexplained?
More that, well, a lot of the unexplained. I've seen healings that I cannot comprehend, but so have many doctors.
Mm-hmm.
Uri Geller.
But is that magic?
Well, where do
the two separate? You know what I mean?
All right, yeah. I've seen things that, and we could, you could say, oh, was there any kind of hallucinogenic involved? And what do we have a comment here?
T3 says, I still can't get over him say stop drinking, because that's exactly what he had to do. Had problems with fighting and getting arrested, which was senseless violence. You got it right.
Yeah, man. We all are just, we're all fighting demons in each and every day. And when it comes to drinking, if someone says drinking is a disease, I go, no, it's a symptom of what's wrong with you. It could kill you, but it's a symptom of what's wrong with you. Why are you drinking? What is the thing? What do you not want to do? What are you running away from? What are you hiding from? And there's a great thing. Oh, pour me another drink. But getting back to real magic, I've seen stuff. Yeah. Mystery, things that are unexplained. I've been part of shamanistic ritual where I've seen just incredible things happen. And if I dealt with ayahuasca, absolutely I have. And, been part of ceremonial things of this type and everything. So I'm not saying, well, I saw real magic when I was tripping. I did, but that's a different, that's a whole other.
I did too.
That's a whole other side of the brain, baby. But I've seen things when I've just been totally sober, and I'm like, this can't happen. This is a miracle. This is magic. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And it's a greater. I think there's more of it going on than we are aware of. People say like, oh, I want a sign. Send me a sign. Send me a sign. Open your eyes, jackass. What more do you need than what's? How do you explain this?
Well, today what they do is they write it off to a glitch in the matrix.
Yeah. I love that. But I also look at, I was looking at a painting, and I do not know. And the guy, I can't deny the fact that someone painted this painting, right? No matter how long, because people go, "Oh, this has always been here." Okay, so's that painting, but man, someone painted it. Right. I don't know. I don't know the whole process, but something went down, and and I look at it like this: everything for me now in life. The first tarot card in the deck is called the Fool, and people say, "What's your favorite tarot card?" It must be the Magician, or No, man, it's the Fool. I want to be the Fool. The Fool is totally present. The Fool is open to any kind of experience happening before them. The Fool, they go, look at him. He's going to walk off a cliff. Absolutely, man. He's going to walk off a cliff. How cool is that? Trust and faith. Hey, don't get me wrong. I look both ways before I cross the street. I don't have a box of oily rags next to my furnace. But at the same at the same token, yeah,
Okay.
it's a great way to go through life. And I had someone call me, and I do individual work with people. And I had someone call me, and she had a store up in Massachusetts, selling all these mineral, rocks and crystals and all that stuff. And she's not totally woo woo. She's into it to a certain degree, but she's more or less just into the crystals and that stuff. So I'm not talking about someone who's hardcore,
Yeah.
And she goes, man, I'm so glad to talk to you. I showed up at work because her store's now in Florida. I showed up at work 5 minutes late this morning, and the exact doppelganger for our friend David, who's this intuitive guy, was there waiting for me on the porch. I couldn't get over it. I kept calling him David. I'm looking at him, dresses like him, hair like him, everything. That he stayed for about 2.5 hours, bought like $1,500 worth of stuff, and then left. And so she sent David a text saying, Chad, remiss, we haven't talked in a while, blah, blah, blah. Didn't hear anything back, but 3 hours later, she got a text from another mutual friend who knew nothing of any of this and said, I got to give you the sad news. David died this morning at 10 o'clock.
Wow.
And so, the goosebumps that stories like that kind of entail? Because she's going, it's so effing weird. It's so effing weird. So effing weird. It hits me like a ton of bricks. I go, no, it's not. That's not weird. That's the way everything is, man. Everything is connected. Everything connects. It's the stuff that we can't see the connection in that's weird.
Right.
That's the way I like to look at it. And, Einstein said 2 ways to look at life. When everything's a miracle, when nothing's a miracle. I live in the miracle camp because it's more fun. So,
Absolutely.
So if that's the case, shame on me. But that's, it's more fun to look at things and go, this is great. Hey, don't you love guys like, I don't remember comic, Rich Seisler, such a great guy. Rich would be like, this is the greatest apple I've ever had in my life. This is the best piece of pie I've ever had, man. This is great. What a great moment this is. I'm so, and he meant it, and it's like, the way he kind of chose to go through life, and he experienced everything like that. It was really, really cool. So to me, everything is a magic eye painting. You remember those damn things where you'd look at them and you go like, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. It'd be like, say like with a sponge, like sponge art. You go, what the hell? And then all of a sudden you go, I see it.
Yep.
I see it. I see it. And you can't unsee it. That's every mystery in life to me. Every mystery in life is that. So here's the cool part. I will eventually see it. They go, when are you going to see it? When I'm supposed to. What if you don't see it? Then it wasn't intended for me.
Right. Good point.
So it's a great way to eliminate the stress and the fear and everything. And then once again, being present. You project forward. What are you doing? You're manufacturing fear, anxiety, stress. Going backwards, generally you get depressed. Only here can you feel some serenity, some peace, the whole thing. And that's why I'm so big on meditation and stuff. And anybody can meditate if they have a good understanding of what how it's going to work for them and what it's going to do. One of my friends and teachers, I say sometimes, gee, I had a hard time with my meditation schedule. Because I was kind of feeling, well, it's like taking a nap, kind of thing. And he goes, oh, schmuck, listen, your meditation is your work. I kind of talk about it as more of like a reward or something. It is your work, man. You do this events twice a day. It allows me to get so much more done, to accomplish, to reach my personal potential. And I'm in a great place. And I'm able to just go, that's nice. No, I mean, Steve Martin came up had a great thing in an interview once with Stern. And when Howard was asking him some stuff where he really didn't want to go, he responded by saying, yeah, I really don't have an opinion on that. And then he did it 2 other times in the interview. And I'm like, oh man, it's a thing. It's a thing he does to diffuse it. Like, most people, have a problem with a particular word, I need to teach them how to use the word. The word is no. No. Yeah. Gregory Peck, the great actor, he wouldn't use the word no very often. He would say, "It's rather unlikely." What a great way to say the word no to people, right?
Right.
I usually say doubtful.
Well, I thought, Jeff, you'd say "fuck you," but that's
Rather unlikely. I like that.
it's rather unlikely.
Right.
That's rather unlikely, and and the whole thing is, I really don't have an opinion on that.
So
It's a great way to get off it. And then when they want to tell you, I go, no, let me sort it out. I'll get back to you in about a week or so. And see, because I really gotta think this out. Thank you. This is interesting. The same way, if you want to end, we were talking about the futility of politics and especially in programs like this, unless hey, have a political show, go there. We'll come here and do our thing, and it's more fun, I think, anyway.
Right.
But when we're talking about the political thing, you'll get a lot of people who are, especially artists, creative people, who'll go like, what we should do. Right away, my "I cut you" comes out of me. What we should do, not what we should fucking okay. What we should do is, there should be a carousel in downtown New Bedford, and it'll be great for the children. And what we should do is that we should. I go like this. Okay. Wow, that's really interesting. Hey, I got to ask you a question though. Do you pay every penny of your income tax? Every penny that comes in, do you pay the tax? You claim every dime you make on your income tax. No? Well, then I can't respect the right to have an opinion, but I'm not going to listen to it anymore because this is hypocrisy. Have a nice day.
So we have about 2 minutes left because Leo does have another show to run tonight.
What a cat.
I know, right? It's all Leo's fault. I'm just saying.
This is great.
So, any last thoughts or questions, or go ahead?
Well, I wanted to bring up his. You've got a new podcast you got doing?
We've just today decided to do something associated with my Stetson Circle podcast, and Facebook page that has daily affirmation, motivation, confirmation. All the Asians live there, and I swing. And this is a beautiful thing. Hey, Pops, before you go, I'm talking to Pops down there.
Yep.
Hopefully you're still there. Okay, Pops, here's the deal. 52 cards in the deck. 26 are red, 26 are black. Which one shall we focus on? Shall we play with? Shall we use? Pops, you choose black or red.
Black or red?
Black or red, Pops. Leo's meter's running.
Go ahead, Leo.
Red. Let's see. Interesting choice. Happens every night. They say red. No big deal. And Ben, there are two suits. Red suits. Hearts or diamonds. Which shall we use? Which shall we play with tonight?
Diamonds.
Interesting. Money-oriented guy. Good.
Diamonds.
Love is
Diamonds.
Hey, Leo. I get an ace through a king. Which one shall we play with tonight?
Jack.
Really? Before we started, I was kind of sitting here just meditating over the situation. And I think I take a deck of cards, look at it. Kind of helps me chill out and relax. I did something. I removed one card from the pack and I reversed it, placed it back inside amongst the others. And for some reason, this crazy dynamic ended up with the pack of diamonds, which is exactly the way that we were thinking. Man, it's like divine design, brother. It all comes together, as I say. So yeah, go to that Facebook page, johnstetson.com. JON is my a website that has lots of things based on the esoteric, the spiritual stuff. Stetson Master Mentalist has a lot of my theatrical and corporate type things. If anyone's in Connecticut, hey, Leo,
Yes, sir.
where in Connecticut are you?
I'm over near Mystic.
What are you doing the Sunday after Thanksgiving?
Sunday after Thanksgiving.
Don't answer. I'll tell you what you're doing. You're coming to Mohegan Sun. I am at Comics at 4 p.m. that afternoon. And if anybody listening here happens to want to be there, since this is a Sunday, I just thought of this now. Sunday after Thanksgiving, I'm doing this show there. And if anybody would like to be our guest, you can send me an email, and I will arrange for a ticket for whomever would like to be with us. Yeah,
and I may want to be in on that.
Well, come on down,
right,
you guys at the casino together. Oh, this could be great. And Comics is such a great room and great club. It's like the old days. I call it like my home club. And I'm there a couple times a month when I'm in town, and it's really a lot of fun. And it's going to be a Sunday afternoon, like 4:00 show. So if you got
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
It's cool. And
yeah, we'll reach out.
I'm there, and it's on my Facebook stuff. John, you can follow me on John Stetson on Facebook. The Ladies Only Psychic Party has a Facebook page. A show called Mind Reading Confidential that I do has a page like that. The Stetson Experience has a page like that. So I'm around. I'm easy to find, and I'm doing a variety of different things. And there's a whole lot of cool stuff that we're going to be putting out and sharing in 23. So
Very cool.
So I'm really, really excited, and I can't thank you guys enough, man. Let's thank our buddy Gary Summers, who brought us together live and in person again. He's America's conduit.
Did you say America's condom?
Well, yeah, there too. Yeah. Nobody feels bad the morning after.
Right.
Wow. Well, he brings people together. That's what I love, man. He practices divine design. He introduces cool people to cool people, and just with his events, enables us to bump into each other there.
Right.
Saw my thing, and you go, oh, it's him, blah 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 blah, and gosh, I had so much fun, reading what you gave me and sharing that with friends, and we're actually talking about maybe doing a special event.
Mm-hmm. We'll have you guys, everybody watching and listening. You're just gonna have to follow us, follow the Dorkening, and follow John. I mean,
yep.
Where can they find John Leo?
Yeah,
other than all those places they already told them.
You can definitely check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. For me, just Google Leo Pond. You'll find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. I'm not going to say which is which, but I run the Dorkening Podcast Network. Keep that in mind, John. If you're starting a podcast, I run a podcast network. Head on over to thedorkening.com. You can see all the latest episodes there. And John, where do you like people interacting with you on the socials?
John Stetson on Instagram is great. John Stetson on Facebook, once again, JON. I am there a ton, and I'm easy to find. So it's not a hard search to find me.
Sounds good, Jeffrey.
Yeah. Hey,
Jeff, man, look at you.
That was a lot of fun, John. You actually you gave me a little bit of new insight to certain things that I've been having trouble dealing with. So you actually helped me tonight. Thank you for that. I just figured I'd mention that.
Thank you. Kind words. Just contact me anytime. I
will be doing that.
All right.
I'm a little psycho and could use some serious help.
We both.
So as far as us, just go to stilltoking.com or Token with the Dead on our Facebook page. From there, you can find all the other Instagram and Twitter shit and all this kind of stuff that I don't keep up with.
So wait a second. You said you're a little psycho, but then you also like little Sasquatch.
Yes, I like little things. I got one.
Oh my God. Well, I'm glad you kept that till the end. No, but seriously.
That's what she said.
Yeah, right. So we want to thank John for coming out and hanging out with us tonight. You can interact with him, like you said, in the show notes up above and down below on his pages. But the best way to interact with a gentleman like this is to actually get off your ass and get to the show. He's going to be at Mohegan Sun after Thanksgiving. You people need something to do. You're going to walk off all that turkey. I mean, come on. Go down there and see him. You won't be disappointed. Trust me. John, when we close up the show, just hang out for 2 seconds if you don't mind.
Sure.
And to all our veterans and first responders, we want to thank you for doing what you do so people like us can do what we do. Stay safe. We're out of here. We'll see you Friday. We have a special coming Friday. So we'll see you Friday and next week on Wednesday if you can't make Friday. Bye.